Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 412.
412.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. We're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. And we're talking all about Disneyland today. Oogie Boogie Bash.
Halloween.
So check out MEI and Mouse Fan Travel if you're looking to do anything Disney or Universal or anything else around this big world.
So we're going to start off here at Disney California Adventure. We were at the very first night here of the Oogie Boogie Halloween Bash.
This looks very busy looking at it, and it was, and we ended up from 80 minutes, I think it was, from the time we got into line until the time we had our wristband. We chose the wrong line.
But I've checked it. I did check it the next two Oogie Boogie Bash nights, and they seem to have gotten things much faster, much in order. Here's a look at the bag, your treat bag here, and the guide map.
The treat bag's exactly the same as what we have for
Boo Bash.
The Boo Bash, yes. There's a lot of bashes going on, so you have to say the right one. And there's so much going on. Like, you can't see it all. You can't see it all in one party. They're all sold out now, but
they were sold out before we even got there.
Yeah,
it was quick.
If I was there, if I had known, I think we would have done two. Because you want to see everything. We didn't get to Villains Grove, which is actually supposed to be fantastic.
I did sort of get to Villains Grove, and we'll show that at the end. But you're right. I would have loved to do two of these, but there was lightning
that night. So at the end of the night,
you were
unable to do that.
So as we walked in, some of the merchandise was out. Now this Oogie Boogie Spirit jersey is available all the time, but this tumbler is special for the party.
Right. Well, all the time meaning right now. I know I've seen it on Shop Disney. I don't know if it's there at the moment. But yeah, the Chervis tumbler was dedicated, and I guess there was a pin or two.
Right. So now we're looking at Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark. And you can see up there, only a 10-minute wait. This is right before the event was going to start at 6 o'clock.
And I wish I had done it then. I only rode once in like 10 days. I don't even know how that happened. But it's such a fantastic attraction.
So we are waiting at one of the immersive treat trails here, actually the Oogie Boogie treat trail. And Oogie Boogie himself just walked by, some great costumes. And here we go. I'm actually going to show a little bit more of this treat trail and the next one just to give you an idea of how incredibly awesome these treat trails are. If you like candy, this is the event for you. The cast members were...
Not just candy.
Well, of course, not just candy. But the cast members were saying... They're going to give you a bag. You're going to need more bags. Bring more bags. And that cast member was correct.
Well, also because Sun Chips take up so much of a bag, but they gave away Sun Chips and carrots and grapes and all kinds of things that were not just, and Go-Go Squeeze, not just candy.
A great variety.
It was nice. So you could have, if you wanted candy, you can eat candy, but you can have other things too. So I thought, we have never been to an Oogie Boogie Bash. We did the party when it was over at Disneyland.
Mickey's Halloween party.
Yes. And so when we got in line, I was like, oh, this is going to be a long time. But it's not. These lines move fast for these villains because I think those were...
Sun Chips.
The lines move quick because a lot of people are really just looking for treats and such, but a lot of people want Oogie Boogie, but this room is huge.
Well, what I love about this whole thing is there is lots of temptation of treats around. So if you do want to see Oogie Boogie, you do get to see him for a couple seconds. They don't really rush you through. They want you to keep going, but this is about the limit of how much time you get. I was able to get a nice little clip, and Oogie Boogie was kind of talking to me, referencing. It was great interaction, great fun.
You could people can pass you, so you could
stop
for a little longer if you want, but also a little bit further back in the room, you could stand there all night. Like, you could be in this room all night long if you want.
That's right.
So to see the characters was really easy, and the lines, even when they look long, except for Villains Grove, generally move very fast. Like when we saw Agatha, which we'll show, it was only like a 5-minute wait. I was like, oh, that's a long line, but it moves quick.
Much quicker than you would ever think. I was so impressed by how this whole thing went off.
We saw a long line for Cruella at the beginning of the night, which probably took 10 minutes or less. It was really long. Everybody wanted to see Cruella.
The longest we waited all night was for Mickey and Minnie Photo Pass. That's because we actually, you kind of meet them.
Probably for about 15 minutes or so. So, of course, there's, if you want tree trails, you just look that way, and here we are. I don't remember even Mad Hatter.
That's right.
So you get to see a character on every treat trail. And
and I must say, there's our good friend, Mr. Daps there. We had a great time hanging out with him.
Yes, that was such a good time. And so Mad Hatter, is Mad Hatter a villain? Because every other
I don't know if he's a villain.
He must
I'm
be
not
a villain.
Really sure. He must be, because you're right. All
Everybody
the other
else
ones
is villains.
are villains.
So,
he does look villainous here.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I only watched the movie once, and I never really thought of him as I don't know if I ever thought of him as a villain per se, but generally these are all villain treat trails. So, but it's fun because, again, this is our first time, so we didn't even know that the Mad Hatter's on the trail.
And he talks to you, he interacts with you, and I just wanted to show again the variety of some of the treats. You had mentioned that variety. I remember years ago at Mickey's Not So Scary, they gave out bananas. Remember our good friend Steve Fox?
That's
I remember. When we met Mr.
That's
Fox.
That's like 10 years ago.
You made banana bread. We had so many bananas.
So yeah, that was a long time ago. They have Steve has and Carice have Park Candy website.
And you just saw tattoos were given out, and I'm not sure what that last bucket was.
Those are grapes.
Oh, grapes.
Yes.
Very nice.
And Agatha from WandaVision was here. She is one of 3 new characters. We also have Sid from Toy Story, and Cruella, the live-action Cruella, who I mentioned. And they were all fantastic. All of the characters are fantastic here.
And there was quite the interest in Agatha there. There was a good crowd all the time. But again, they weren't pushing you. They weren't rushing you through. You were able to have... She was probably the best interaction of any character.
Sid was great.
Well, yes, but she was... There was a wealth of goodness. So many were great.
So, and I'm just going to say, I mentioned the line was really long, but it probably wasn't that much more than 5 to 7 minutes for us. And so it moved quickly, but you could stop as soon as you got to where she was, because everybody can just pass you if they're just looking for candy. It was really easy.
And you can see there's effects going on back there. There's smoke. There's music. I will link in the end of the video and in the show notes to the standalone so you can hear all what's going on, the whole interaction.
This was just, this was a great night, I thought, from start to finish. This is in the Doctor Strange show area. You saw the Doctor Strange show.
And that's coming up soon. I just finished editing that. So now we're looking at some more characters here, some more villains.
Hades was out, and Pain and Panic. There was,
And Megara later on came out.
Yes, and Megara. So in this circle, this Carthay Circle area, during the day you'd have characters all day long. But during the Oogie Boogie Bash, because there's Halloween in both parks all day long, during the Oogie Boogie Bash, you ended up getting these rare characters, and I think they were not all villains, because Cinderella was out here as well at one point.
But she was with the Wicked Stepsisters and
Lady Tremaine.
Lady Tremaine, right.
And so this was just so much fun, though, because you never really knew who you were going to see. Even during the day, you didn't know who you were going to see.
Right. I love that aspect. And every time we had a chance to check back to see who was out, we did. This was a pretty good wait, maybe 15 to 20 minutes to meet Mickey and Minnie, because there was a photo pass there. And I should mention, photo pass pictures were free with your admission.
Included with the admission. But also, I've read that you can take photo pass pictures all day long and they will be included. I don't guarantee that.
I wish we had known, right?
We didn't do that, so we didn't test that out. And Mickey and Minnie, I guess these costumes came from Hong Kong at one point, is what several people on my Instagram feed said.
Yeah, that looks like it. It was beautiful with the sunset here and Mickey and Minnie, and I'm going to give you an example. And there's our picture. I think it came out pretty good.
I thought it was nice. I wish we had used the photo pass a little bit more on that day. For the characters.
So after meeting Mickey and Minnie, it was time for the Frightfully Fun Parade. But first, we're going to see the Headless Horseman.
Well, you have the Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman, and we saw it from 2 different angles. One of the times did take a while because of
There was a breakdown.
Yes, and this isn't the first time we've seen that Jack and Sally float break down
Right,
before
right.
and get towed down the street. But they
Ichabod
still did
Crane,
a
by the
parade.
way, I don't mean to interrupt, but he was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that he did a great job, his mannerisms and everything. And here is the Headless Horseman, very different than at Walt Disney World. You don't see him galloping. There's no sparks, it's just a slow
It's
walk.
more of a stroll.
Right.
And this was the second parade of the evening.
Correct.
We had watched it from the Paradise Gardens area where they seemed very excited. Everybody seemed very excited when they came out. We saw them pretty much as they came out for the first time this season.
And here is the Frightfully Fun Parade. And again, I'm going to show little bits from both angles, but I'm glad that you were able to explain it. I like this angle because you had a little bit better lighting. You had the white lighting from the show billboard behind us. So I really like this spot here.
This was very exciting. It's the first parade that I have seen since March 2020. I saw Magic Happens, which only ran for about 2 weeks, and I hope we'll be back at Disneyland. And so it was really emotional to get to see a parade and performers. And it wasn't like it was that I didn't feel like everybody was too close together either time.
Right, you could see from the other guests there, it was not many rows, it wasn't tight, and this is really the premier place to watch the parade. Mm-hmm. I should mention though, this was the second parade, which is usually less crowded than the first one.
It would be because families would go home by now. Not all families, but it's just like at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party here. And here we have the mayor. And so I think the Jack and Sally float are behind that.
That's right. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas segment. I love this. It's when we first saw this a couple years ago when we went to the Mickey's Halloween Party at Disneyland. We were at the very last one of that. It was the first time we saw this, and it just blew me away. I love all these floats.
That was probably about 2018 or so. Because then they did Oogie Boogie Bash at least once, so it could have been even 2017 when we did that.
Yeah, it was 2018. It was 2018.
But I think that the party plays very well here in Disney California Adventure, and then we have these characters as well. They're like, I don't know if you would call them almost like puppets. Look how happy that they, the performers. You just can tell that this was such a big deal for them to be back. Having a full parade.
Right, and this is the first public parade that any Disney park in the U.S. has had since the pandemic. So yes. It was fantastic. This is the float that broke down, and this is the other angle. The first time we watched it, a few more guests in this showing, but again, awesome.
I didn't feel too close to anybody, which was good. So there are Jack and Sally, but. Did you not show them being total?
Well, I wanted to show it the correct. See, you could see right there the little red on the edge. That was the tow truck. I tried to show it in my video, so it looked. You could see the tow pole. So we're showing behind the scenes here, but I tried to show it so the viewer doesn't know that it was broke down. You're ruining.
No, this is a gorgeous float, but the first time that we saw it at Disneyland, it broke down in front of us. Jack and Sally, they keep doing their show.
Oh, yeah, I remember they did their thing for like 10 minutes.
Just in one place.
Jack's back.
They were fantastic.
Yeah, that's right.
And, just like here, they still have the parade, they still have the float. And here is the Haunted Mansion segment.
Hitchhiking Ghosts.
And we have met them at an event, and I thought that was really terrific.
That's right. That was the IPW event at Disneyland, and we spent a lot of time recording them. I think they were happy to be rid of us by the end of that night.
Don't say that. They actually didn't have very many people stopping for them because of the nature of the event. They weren't like Disney fans as much. This is a ballroom dancers.
And I should mention the choreography is a little different than the last time because of COVID. They are not holding, they're not actually dancing with each other. They're spaced out, so that's a little bit of a different setup.
And I don't think that I would have really noticed it, except that people talked about it.
Yeah, we were told it. Yeah.
Well, not just told it, but it was discussed online. And I didn't think about it while watching. It was so similar to what I'm used to. And so here, of course, we have the bride and then the Haunted Mansion float, which is a a fantastic float as well. They have gorgeous floats here.
And you can see the in the windows there are various different scenes. You just saw the dancing
Ballroom
dancers, and I'm not showing it now while we're doing the show. I'll link to it, but I show both sides in a little bit more coverage, so you can see when you watch the multi-angle version. And there is the what is he called?
The caretaker.
The caretaker. Yes, of course.
And so and then we have I don't know if here also the gravediggers.
Gravediggers.
And then they have the shovels, which they get the sparks as they, this is something we haven't seen in a couple of years, is the gravediggers with the shovels.
Well, I'm going to show that from the other angle because it was a little darker and you can really see those sparks. So
and
we
here's
go.
the lighting we were talking about. It was very blue here.
Right.
Really dark. So it was hard for photos and such.
It would have been good enough, but I really wanted to get a super version of the parade. I love the parade. To me, the highlight was the Frightfully Fun Parade. So seeing it twice was a no-brainer for me.
This wasn't, I don't know if it was a highlight. Like, everything was a highlight. Like, it was like, wow, this is great. This is great. This is great. But probably the most emotional aspect for me was the parade, because it's just something that we haven't experienced except, partial, the cavalcades, which have been really fun. But, nothing, honestly, nothing beats the full, once you get that full parade and the performers just working it, really was something.
And here we have Dr. Facilier on his float.
And we see Dr. Facilier also at the treat trail, and really, performance in both locations. And of course, we see Dr. Facilier here a lot during when we have Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
That's right. And at Disneyland Paris, he often makes appearances as well.
He definitely
he gets around.
He gets around all the Disney parks.
But you mentioned his interactive treat trail. That was fantastic. I mean, I do love what you're getting. You're getting high quality interaction while you're getting candy.
Which was amazing, and we'll probably show that later, I assume.
Absolutely.
So this was the beginning of this villain segment. We have seen Ursula in the same form during the Disney Villains After Hours, although we saw her first like this at the Mickey's Halloween Party.
And also Spectro Magic, I think there was a similar design of Ursula. But she's talking, she was really fun. And this is a great segment if you like the villains.
And just when I put her on Instagram before, people love it. And so here are other villains. We have the Queen of Hearts, and we have Lady Tremaine and the sisters, and Jafar. So many different villains, and we're not even done yet.
And I think all of these villains that we're seeing walking here were meeting at various places throughout the party. We didn't meet them all, but we've seen photos of them all meeting.
I couldn't keep up with everybody's meet and greets. And, there's just too many. Again, you really need 2 parties to really cover everything. It doesn't matter if you have a camera or whatever. There's just too much to see. So here is Cruella in her animated form. We're going to see Cruella also in her live action form.
And that was very popular,
That was really well done.
And Hades again?
Hades made many appearances during the party. And then we have Evil Queen. You missed Evil Queen. You didn't get to see her, though I did.
I feel that I've seen her because you did such a splendid job, and I'm going to show that later.
With the treat trail.
Yeah, that's right. That was. I wish I could have seen that, but I was recording this at the time.
So you get not only the parade, the parade version, but more of an intimate experience where you're getting candy, but you're also getting to interact with her. And so then we're going to see Cheshire
There's the Maleficent dragon up there, and the Cheshire Cat, the Cheshire Cat debuted in this parade in 2019, the first version of the Oogie Boogie Bash.
And I actually did not know that. I always think of the Chat as a Disneyland Paris character.
And he's meeting at Disneyland during the day, which was fantastic.
That was a very big surprise for me.
So now we're walking around the Pixar Pier and getting a little candy here, but we're about to see a bunch of Pixar characters, starting off with this villain.
Sid, new for the party.
From Toy Story.
Very
Sid
well done.
Show Circus.
So he was very, very popular here. Really, I thought this was very well done. This is that kind of that band shell that they have had. I think the Pixar Orchestra was over here. So he interacts probably more than almost anybody with you.
And he tells stories about his toys that he has altered for the better, according to him. And he looks the part. I mean, fantastic. I thought it was great.
And all of the characters, these characters do interact with you as far as, if they're talking, they'll talk to you. Like Mad Hatter said something to me.
But you don't have to. I mean, most of the guests walk right by to get more candy. But there's these hardcore people, mostly with cameras, that stick around and do this kind of thing.
I think that Disneyland locals love this too, and so he's just kind of
telling a story about what he's done to that nice toy. Now we're going to move on, and we're looking at some characters from Onward.
And I got to see Ian and Barley. Now all we're seeing here is Ian, but I know Barley was out as well on this night. I got to see them in March 2020 during my Disneyland trip, and it was that was their debut. We saw them also at the AMC theater when we went to go see the movie.
And that when you saw them in 2020, that was old school meet and greet where you wait and actually get a picture with them.
And so there is Cruella, who is very popular, and so you've got this great set here, showing kind of like she'd be in the movie.
And this is actually another interactive treat trail, and you have 3 switchbacks, and you do have to kind of keep it going because some of the switchbacks, until you get to the front row, aren't as wide. And in the front row there's a little room, so if you want to stop and get some pictures, get some video. I don't think I saw anybody without a camera. Everybody wanted to see Cruella, but great interactions as we've seen before, and good candy.
I thought and I think there was like grapes too. So anyway, I thought this one was a lot of fun.
And one little tip that I noticed later on in the night, the line was much shorter, although you said you went back there and she wasn't there at some point.
Right, I went back later in the evening, and so nobody, they didn't have her at the time. I think you could still get candy, but she was not there at that moment. So we went to go see Mickey's Trick or Treat show.
Trick and
Treat, because they gave out little treats, which I didn't take any of the little treats.
I didn't either. You had to sit on the floor. I had enough problems just standing up, let alone collecting the treats. This was a fun little show, though.
I thought it was cute, and the actor, they call him Parker, and then you have Mickey and Minnie, who here they are, hiding essentially.
Yeah, I would never guess what they're who's behind those costumes.
And then Goofy, and then I don't know what Donald is supposed to be.
He looks like he's a werewolf. No, he's a werewolf.
I don't know.
Did you not watch the show?
I sort of. I mean, I was probably also on my phone for a little bit
how
taking pictures.
Goofy was hiding his eyes with his ears. It was so funny. But now you're exposing who are in the costumes, and of course it's Minnie, and you're about to see Mickey. I think it was really a fun show, and I'm glad we got to see it.
They have, I guess, a couple of original Halloween songs, and it's not too long, about 10 minutes or so, was it?
Yep, about 10 minutes. It's in where the Disney Junior area, the little stage is. So what's not good is everyone has to sit on the floor, which is great sitting down, but getting back up after you're there for a while on a long night was a bit rough.
Yeah, that was, it's a lot easier when it's like a bench or something. So it was cute. It was a cute little show.
And we're just going to see the finale right here, where they're going to shoot out the sparkling things and the candy. And that was the end.
And these, of course, are interesting outfits. You don't see them anywhere else in the park. I've probably never seen them ever before.
Now, these projections on the Carthay Theater exterior here are fantastic.
And I think they have some during non-party nights, but it's a little more enhanced, I think, during the evenings, Oogie Boogie Bash evenings.
And it was especially enhanced later on this night because the lightning effects were spectacular.
Lightning is something, and we're going to talk about it later, you don't really see in California.
Apparently, no.
So, yeah. And so you'd hear, because it was such a big deal.
So here we have Pirate Donald and Pirate Goofy. It was in the dark, so I had to try to lighten it up a little bit. And where they're heading to their little area on the right, on the left here, where this treat trail sign is where Dr. Facilier is. So we're getting some candy, and we're going to see, of course, you have no idea. And of course, it is Dr. Facilier in the flesh right here.
And, talking to guests and interacting. And, each of the treat trail locations, you've seen, like, they're really well themed. They put a lot of effort into each of these treat trails. At, like, the Oogie Boogie one was, oh my gosh,
over the top, yeah. Well, he is the host of the party.
Yes. So I just enjoyed these quite a bit. And there is Chip and Dale, and they remind me a little bit of their Disneyland Paris outfits that we saw.
Well, they're
them
pirates.
In this year.
They're also in the pirate theme here, and we're going to see, who do we have next? I don't even remember. Oh, this is your footage
Maleficent.
Coming up ahead. So I'm going to let you describe what's going on. You're going to see Maleficent, and then you're going to see the Evil Queen.
I had caught up with Mr. Daps, and he was like, "Oh, we should go see Maleficent."
Oh, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
That was a good advice from Mr. Daps.
And I got her as she was entering. I think may have seen her leave for a second, and then come back.
In your full version that we'll link to, you'll see the full entrance and the full. I cut this down for the show, but yeah, that was great. Your entrance.
She was just, wow, you're getting candy and then getting
and
to
spinning
see this.
wheels. You got coverage there. She references the spinning wheels from the film. So the props actually tell us some of the story. And the Evil Queen, also fantastic.
And, this is like you're getting entertainment, really good quality entertainment with your candy and your sun chips. But she was like just... she was talking to, didn't see who she was talking to, but she referenced Tinkerbell. And I'm assuming there was like a little girl dressed as Tinkerbell, or maybe it was an adult dressed as Tinkerbell, because she went into this whole thing about Tinkerbell and Peter Pan.
It's funny you say that, because way earlier on in the night when we were meeting Agatha, there was somebody dressed as Aladdin, and Agatha, kept saying, "Hey, Aladdin," referencing Aladdin. So I thought it was very funny.
So,
and this is, by the way, the very famous Evil Queen.
We have seen her. There's only one Evil Queen, so of course she's very famous.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to show the apples she's referencing, and you did a great job of showing the props. They're a little dark, but we can see that they are the apples.
Well, it's an iPhone, so I think the iPhone though did a great job. I just held it up, and I really wanted to get some of this because I thought that they were so great.
And here we see some more of the characters we have from Robin Hood.
Yeah, there was a number of characters from Robin Hood who were...
The Sheriff of Nottingham, I believe.
I think that, yes, I haven't seen the film in so long. So there was a variety of different characters here. And I don't know that they were only Robin Hood characters. There was probably other ones as well.
So here we have the Villain's Grove.
That we didn't do.
But I shot through the trees and the leaves. You can see there's fog in there. There's all kinds of lighting. There's people going around in there. There are no characters, by the way, in there. It's just a spooky area. And
I think it's supposed to be a highly themed area as well.
Yes, highly themed.
It is so popular. The line was so long. And it seemed to move very slowly.
And if it wasn't for the lightning, I would have been able
to
do it, because this one stayed open a little bit later.
I really wanted to do that one, but maybe next year. I would like to go back next year.
I would too.
And so here is Megara. We didn't catch her over here until, like, we saw her walking around. Yes.
Very late in the evening, right at the end of the night.
And she is a very popular, like if she was at Walt Disney World, she would have like a 5-hour wait.
Oh yeah, in the old days where you waited to meet her, yeah, it would be
And
nuts.
Oogie Boogie also would have like 2 or 3 hours, and so you're getting to see all of these very popular characters with no wait.
But Disneyland
whatsoever.
Anyway is much more chill with the characters.
Yeah, but during Mickey's the Mickey's Halloween party, there were still waits for like Maleficent and Evil Queen. Maybe not like hours and hours, but still quite a wait.
By the way, this whole exchange here,
this was really
was
fun.
Fantastic. I'm going to put this together for a standalone.
I
didn't realize how good this was until I was putting the show together.
I told you, like, I'm the one. I did this.
I know you did. I hadn't seen it until I put the show together yesterday. It's really funny. They're right now they're just interacting together, but then you'll see in the background there you have the stepsisters, and when all 4 of them get together, it was funny, good stuff.
It was really fun. My location when I moved over there was a little too much in front of a tree for the moment, briefly.
Right, but it was okay.
Yeah, it turned out fine, but I was not expecting interactions with all of them.
Right.
And so that made it, quite a lot of fun.
And I see the tree you're talking about, but it's worth it. It's worth it with the tree. And with the iPhone, it actually captures it pretty good with all the lighting from the
purple lights.
Yeah, I mean,
which are beautiful.
It was really good. So again, I haven't put it together yet, but this whole thing was a lot of fun, and I'll do a standalone for this one.
And I will say it's very different than being here at Walt Disney World. Like here, each character's like 6 feet apart. There, they actually get together and are next to each other and everything.
Yeah, the sisters are almost touching each other over there. I mean, they're very close.
So
totally different than you have in Florida.
It was a very different type of experience at Disneyland than what we have here right now.
And what a greatly themed evening! You actually had the most amazing lightning. I wonder if Disney paid for that.
So, instead of trying to take photos, it's like you just put the phone up so that you can try to, to get,
supposedly
a video of it.
And not far from here, there was hail and rain. We got very lucky. We were able to get on the bus and get back before any of that happened.
Well, we didn't know if we should go or not, because somebody was telling me, they were like, oh, there's hail and there's
But at the Kiss concert, there was all kinds of rain and hail. They had to cut, speed it along. So yeah, that was happening not far away from
It was
here.
hard to know whether to leave the park, because once you leave the park and out of that security area, you can't come back in. So we ended up getting to the bus, and we were lucky. I don't think there was any rain. 2
big thumbs up. I loved the Oogie Boogie Bash.
I would go to it every single night.
No, that's
really,
very expensive.
I know. I really had a very good time at it, and really recommend it for, if you're heading to Disneyland next year. I couldn't recommend it more.
Well, we will ourselves be doing that, hopefully. I'd love to do it again. It was a wonderful time. Mm-hmm. And we want to thank our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
Yes, check them out. And if you're looking to travel to Disneyland, they're going to have, the Christmas season should be really fantastic there. Or to Walt Disney World, where we're having, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is opening on October 1st with a new creperie, and so much going on. In the coming 18 months, we're hopefully going to see at least one more attraction open as well. So check them out, and they can help you get your trip set up.
And next week we're going to have, I don't know what, we have so much content, because when we were in California, we got the regular Halloween that was happening at both parks, not to mention some dining opportunities. And then we did the Marvel, the Avengers Campus. We saw all of that fully, everything that was going on. So tons and tons of content coming from Disneyland. But then we hit the ground running. As soon as we got in the next morning, we were off to Epcot to see the new shop, the Creations shop that opened. Plus, we did our Ratatouille experience. We're going to be seeing more things of excitement.
Space 220.
That's right. Tomorrow, very exciting.
There's a lot going on. We're going to get a preview of the Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic.
Right.
I mean, we have so much from Disneyland to share, but that would have to be a whole show. And then
not to mention the statues.
And the statues.
We saw all the statues of the Magic Kingdom. We did that a few days ago.
The topiary display,
we
all
did
the
50th.
Lot. We have
we
done a lot.
should be very tired right now.
I am. I am tired.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm not quite sure what we'll have, but it'll be something.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't need to really go out anymore.
No,
and yet
we can stay in, and yet we are. All right. Well, anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.